So Howard Schultz, or as I call him, Howard Schitz. I'm such a dumbass, but it makes me laugh, man. I can't, listen, I said it from the beginning, even though Trump's a fucking moron, I kind of like his nicknames. So I guess I've somewhat adopted a similar thing where I do, because he said about Schatz. What's his name? Schatz. I mean, Schatz's name alone is bad enough, but he said Schitz. I'm using that for Schultz. Schultz is Howard Schitz. But anyway, he morphed into Jeb Bush this week, and it gave us this hilarious, immortal moment. Take a look.
The cost of an education here will be less expensive in nominal dollars in 2020 than it was in 2012. Congratulations. Got to clap for that.
I think the next president needs to be a lot quieter, but send a signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country to get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
Awesome. So glorious. I loved every second of it. To be fair to Howard Schultz, his you have to clap for that didn't sound nearly as desperate as Jeb Bush's. Like, there's something about Jeb Bush that is the epitome of weakness. Trump called him low energy Jeb. I think he could have came up with a better nickname for Jeb, because something with weakness more, because he's like a feeble man. Feeble boy Jeb. Feeble Jeb Bush. I like that better. He's just so feeble. God damn it. And you could tell he yearns for the approval of everybody that's around him at all points in time. And it's something that just makes you're turned off to him. You're like, stop being so fucking feeble or needy Jeb Bush. I'm enjoying coming up with different nicknames for Jeb. But you sense it in how he talks and the way he carries himself. He's like, do you like me? You guys like me yet? And because he does that, you're just like, no. And fuck you on top of the no. And Howard Schultz, it's not Howard Schultz's energy. His vibe is not like that. That Jeb's vibe is just feeble and needy. Howard Schultz's vibe is more, how do I describe this? Aloof. He's more like aloof and disconnected. But the aloofness and the disconnectedness also perfectly defines his ideology and what he's doing right now, his little vanity project. Because he's so aloof and he thinks he's so holier than thou that he's he doesn't even realize that everybody fucking hates him. He has a 4% approval rating. They just did a poll on it. We covered it on the last show. 4%, son. 4%. He's not even in double digits. Oh, I'm going to love this election, I have to tell you. I mean, come on, man. You have so many characters, so many narcissistic idiots, so many out-of-touch people. The thing that's the funniest about Howard Schultz is this. He fancies himself as the savior of the country from the evil grips of the evil billionaire Donald Trump. And he thinks he's riding in on his white horse, and he's the good billionaire to save you from the bad billionaire, and he's a leader of moral character. Yes. So he fancies himself the savior of the country from Donald Trump, when the reality is he actually perfectly embodies the ideology that gave us Donald Trump. Think about that. What gave us Donald Trump? Honestly, it was a broken, neoliberal, centrist world order. A world order that only cared about corporations and elites and really screwed over working people. And what did they do? They gave you social issues change because corporations have no stake in whether or not we're assholes to gay people. So, okay, yeah, sure. We'll give you some change on social issues. Yeah, oh, us corporations, we don't hate blacks and we don't hate gays. Aren't we so progressive? It's like, actually, no, that's the bare minimum. Like, that should be under the duh category, not even debatable. Like, obviously, we shouldn't be assholes to gay people and to black people. But corporations, like, hold that up as like, oh, see, we're so moral. Look at our commercial that has diversity in it. Ah. And Howard Schultz comes along and he's like, yes, I'm the guy who's going to still give tax cuts to corporations, going to still deregulate Wall Street, going to agree with neoliberal centrism through and through, going to gaslight the left and say, we can't afford to do Medicare for all and free college. Oh. So he comes along and perfectly embodies neoliberal corporate centrism, while he's also like, and by the way, I don't hate immigrants. Aren't I a good person? And like, so in a weird way, even though he fancies himself as the savior of the American people from Donald Trump, and he's the good billionaire to save you from the bad billionaire, his ideology is the exact kind of neoliberal rot, the exact kind of nonsense that led to the rise of a fake populist demagogue. If there's one term that I would use to describe Howard Schultz's campaign here, it's anti-populist or elitist. That's what it is. And he thinks like, oh, this is the answer. Dude, you're basically Hillary Clinton, but more honest. Hillary Clinton, like 25% of the time, put on a little fake progressive act. You just drop the fake progressiveness and say, yeah, corporations are awesome, and I don't hate minorities, and vote for me because he's a bad guy, and I care deeply about decorum. Nothing's funnier than the decorum humpers, because the whole thing that they're trying to do is like, me, I will not be offensive. I will be a good leader and I will have good, polite, civic, moral values. And it's like, hey, asshole, people actually don't really care about that, which again is one of the reasons why Trump's elected, because he doesn't give a shit about that. I'm polite and I'm civil. People are actually offended by up to 45,000 people dying because they don't have health care in this country. Something you're okay with. It's true, you are. People are actually offended by over $1 trillion in student loan debt. Something you're okay with and you have no plan to deal with. You know? So the stuff that actually offends people is the stuff that he's okay with. The stuff where he's not going to cross the line is like, oh, I will stand with good posture and not use curse words. Vote for me, America. A moral man. So out of touch with reality. It's kind of hilarious to watch him destroy himself. Again, I told you, it's going to be a tough one. Who will I make fun of more in 2020? There should be bets about this in Las Vegas. Will I make fun of Cory Booker more, Amy Cloudboot-Jar, or Howard Schitz? It's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know who I'm going to make fun of more, but my goal is probably to split it up evenly between those three.